People think Cristiano Ronaldo, who came back for a second spell. And of course, it did not work out. I remember that famous interview that he gave to Piers Morgan. He was asked what had changed at Manchester United, mate, from his first spell compared to his second spell. This was his answer.
Nothing changed. Surprisingly, not only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym. Even some points, the technology, the kitchen, the chefs, which is I appreciate, lovely persons. They stop in a time which is it surprised me a lot. I thought I will see different things, as I mentioned before, technology, infrastructure, but unfortunately we see many things that I'm used to see when I was 20, 21, 23, so surprised me a lot.
That was Ronaldo saying what he saw second time around surprised him a lot. What was the reaction inside the football club, mate, when that interview that he did with Piers Morgan went out?
I don't think there was a massive reaction within the environment. You know, I think it was a case of why did he do it? You know, why with Piers? You know, was it more about Piers than Ronaldo in a way? But he did speak. He spoke from the heart, to be fair. You know, he explained it pretty categorically that he was disappointed with the environment that he'd come back to.
Was he right?
Yeah, I think he had a point. I do think he had a point. You know, there were elements to the ground that were to the training ground that were tired, definitely. Possibly, you know, there were moments when, you know, he's a high maintenance player, Cristiano. Massive standards, huge standards, and he gained a lot of experiences at Manchester United. Left, gained even more. Coming back, anybody would expect more. You would have moved with the times. I don't think he saw that pretty early in his career at United, but when we brought him back, you should have seen the feelings around the place and the players. You know, even top players in that dressing room just wanted him around. They wanted him. You know, it was like an unbelievable decision to bring a world-class player into that dressing room, and the supporters reacted to it hugely. Yeah, I mean, the lift was remarkable, and I just think it ran its course. It ran its course that he probably was feeling. Can he keep doing it? Can he keep doing what was asked? Again, a change of manager. You know, one manager brought him in, another manager is available at some point in January, and he's probably thinking, where does this leave him? I don't know. I never had that. I never got the chance to have that conversation with him, but I'm sure he would have looked at it and thought, this is a lot different to what he expected. Did he do his homework before? Probably not. Emotionally attached, yes. And he just expected more, and probably it wasn't there. Well,
it's interesting that because one of the things he said in the advertorial that Piers Morgan did for him.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it wasn't advertorial, wasn't it? It was basically, let's not question anything that Cristiano Ronaldo says, and let's look across him at a table with eyes batting and great admiration. But he himself talked about the players, and he said that he didn't see in the players the things that he was when he was a younger player. When he walked into that Man United dressing room, he thought that the players would listen to him. He thought that the players would respond to him, given his prestige, his achievements, and of course his ability, that there would be a culture that wanted to embrace that. And he saw
it's interesting,
the exact opposite.
Yeah, there was a blend of youth in there and experience. The experienced players definitely understood Cristiano Ronaldo. And I just think, looking back, and this goes into roughly what I talk about now in what I'm doing with the company and what have you, is Generation Z. Do you know what I mean? Well, it was X then, probably Z now, I don't know. But those youngsters now have a completely different viewpoint in a dressing room to, say, when I was a kid, you know, looking up to the next level, respecting the next level. I'm not saying that they didn't respect him, but they had an edge to them. Kids have edges now, you know what I mean? And they're
did they take him on with a few things that he was pointing out?
I think now and again, you know, it didn't matter who was in the dressing room. As long as they were in there, that's all that mattered. And I think, yeah, certain standards that Cristiano probably thought should be there, and the youth of today, you know, he was what was he then at that age? He'd probably be 35. Was he 35?
Yeah,
something like that. He was one of the senior players, and he expected probably a little bit more from the youngsters, a little bit more determination. Let's be fair, when Cristiano Ronaldo was at Manchester United, his standards were massive. I mean, his work ethic, his standards, and he maintained that, and he's still doing it. That's why he's playing now.
And so were the standards of the club.
And the club, yeah.
And I'm curious to ask you what I feel watching from the outside in that something culturally has shifted in Manchester United. Players don't seem to get the responsibility of what's involved in playing Man United. Some of them shrink under the weight of the shirt, and a lot of them don't seem to understand that they're playing for arguably the greatest and biggest club in world football, or certainly one of them. And it feels, you know, I watch players like Martial that I couldn't have got out the door quick enough if I was an owner, reflecting a kind of attitude and outlook that doesn't reflect what I think Man United once were.
No, you've got a point there, because I come from the background of you earn the shirt. You have to earn the shirt. You know what I mean? You have to put it in. You have to turn up. You have to cut. You have to train. You train hard. You go recovery. You're then available for selection. You've got to have that mentality at Manchester United, and then it's up to others to make sure that they pick you, because they can't not pick you. And I think that's an important thing now, that all the time the work ethic has to be there, which creates the culture and creates the standard. And if you don't deliver on that, there's no excuses. Then it goes to the next level, which is the decision-making process. What decisions are you going to make that can have consequences to those decisions? And is that, you know, reflected in the dressing room? So is he playing? Is he not playing? He's not playing because he can't get in the team, or is he playing because the manager likes him? That type of thing. And you've got to earn that right. And I think that builds up this culture within a dressing room that says we're all in it together. We all got to put our shift in. We've all got to deliver. Otherwise, we don't play.
Were you disappointed, Mick, when you waved Ronaldo off for the last time? After he gave Morgan,
I love working with
Morgan
Ronaldo.
that
I
interview.
mean, I worked with him the first time round.
I know he thinks
and
highly
what he
of you.
brought to the table the first time round was
sensational,
incredible. And then he comes back, and yes, you want that same youthfulness, you want that same kid, but you want his experience as well. And he had bundles of it. The problem is you're a player, and your domain is dressing room, and you need to set those standards in the dressing room. And I'm sure he tried to do that. The opposite of that is you can't dictate after that. You can't. I'm not saying that Cristiano did, but you can't dictate what goes on outside of your environment. And he was a player. He was a player. He wasn't a coach.
But he wasn't just any player.
No, he was a top player. Top guy.
But are you telling us some of the guys in that dressing room, second time around, looked at Ronaldo and said, no.
I'm just thinking it's probably a different attitude because of the youth of today. You know, there's an element in youth of today which is...
This was Ronaldo, mate. Jeez.
Yeah, I know.
If they can't listen to him, who can they listen to?
But a lot of kids now don't even watch football. They play football, but they don't watch football.
Really? It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Jim White